Hey guys, and welcome to episode 5, possibly, or 6 of my 5-minute knowledge bomb. Sorry for the lack of these knowledge bombs. I've been having a few camera issues. I've also been traveling. Things have been getting a little bit long since I came back from my 6 weeks away, but I'm back now. I'm back and I'm loaded. So today we're going to run through. It's going to be like a 3-part episode. So the next 3 episodes are going to be covering the subject of why you aren't getting results. So why you aren't getting results. The first one I'm going to run through today, guys, is planning your BMR, working out your BMR, working out your total daily energy expenditure, which is formulated as the TDEE. It's one of the most important things you need to work out to work out how many calories you burn during the day. It's all estimate. Remember, it's all estimate. And then how many calories, for example, how much to drop into a deficit. And surplus if we're talking about surplus, but today we're talking about weight loss, body fat loss, so we will be talking about dropping yourself into a diet, into a calorie deficit, and losing body fat. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is how do you work out your BMR? How do you work out your total TDEE, your total energy expenditure? Well, pretty simple. I used to give this website out on my Facebook page quite a long time ago. It's called the TDEE calculator. I'm going to twist the camera around and show you now. It's pretty simple. It works in pounds. You do have to convert kilograms into pounds. So if you're 70 kilograms, you just take 70 times by 2.2 and you'll have your weight in pounds. You'll have to input it. If you work out your height in centimeters, you'll have to transition that to feet, which is not too bad. Just type in centimeters to feet in the Google and you'll get quite easy. Or I use this little thing called Units Plus. I'm going to show you that now. This one here, Units Plus, quite an easy app to get. It converts currency, length, area, speed, all these kind of things. So it's a very simple app to get. It also converts centimeters into feet. So guys, I'm going to twist the camera around and show you how to work out your total daily energy expenditure. Step number 1 in working out how to diet, how to drop into a deficit. Okay guys, can you guys see this? So this is the website. It's the TDEE calculator.net. That's the website that you need to go to. So you've got 3 little things to use there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit through here so you guys can see this. Okay, so you've just got your age. Let's use me for example. I'm 33, 34 tomorrow. Thank you very much. You can wish me happy birthday later. I'm definitely a male. So my weight currently is about 107 kilograms. I know, a little bit on the heavy side. But what I'm going to do on my calculator here, nice and easy, 107 times by 2.2 equals 235 pounds. Okay, so I just input that, 235. I know my feet in centimeters, about 189, 190. I'm 6'2". Pretty easy, just input there. Sedentary, right now I'm sedentary, but generally I'd say I'm moderately active. So these light exercise, moderate exercise, don't count these as your how hard you work out. Light exercise, I know it says exercise, moderate exercise. Count these as how active you are throughout the day. That's more important than how hard you work out. You may burn 300 extra calories, 200 extra if you work out more intensely in terms of more metabolic style approach. But we're talking about resistance training, and we're talking about how active you are through the day. So I'm generally at the moment, well, I'm pretty sedentary, but normally because I'm pretty active, I'd say moderate exercise. I'm going to click that one. Body fat currently, I shudder to think. I reckon I'm around about 11% body fat at the moment. So I'm going to input that and then I'm going to put recalculate, and you will see drop down through here. It gives you a figure of your basal metabolic rate. My basal metabolic rate, it says, is around 2,419, which is about right. It's a good guesstimate. And total daily energy expenditure, if you look down through here, this is your total daily energy expenditure. Mine comes out at 3,750. Okay, so that is my basal metabolic rate. If you look down through here, it does give you a little kind of adjustments in terms of, if you're cutting your standard kind of like low carb day, moderate carb day. I wouldn't really look into too much of this. I tell clients not to. It's just a simple format and a good format to use to work out your total daily energy expenditure. This figure here, 3,750, is basically them telling me roughly how many calories I burn per day. So if I was to say, for example, if I was to stay in a maintenance, if I want to remain my current weight, with my current activity level, with my current training level, I'd want to take on around 3,750 calories. If I wanted to lose weight, I'd have to take less. So they basically just say cut down 500 calories off your total daily energy expenditure, which is 3,250, which is, I'm on around about, what am I on now? 3,800 currently. So yeah, everyone figures out. So I'm on around about maintenance, push from a deficit into a maintenance now. So yeah, that's pretty accurate. So what do you do with this figure? 3,750. Okay, let me show you. Figured out your total daily energy expenditure. So running on the theory that was based on mine, basic metabolic rate, total daily energy expenditure was at 3,750. So as I said before, a simple rule of thumb, and what some people do, is just take 500 off their total daily energy expenditure. That would be running around 3,250 calories a day. And therefore I'd be in a deficit. I'd be in a 500 calorie deficit from my total daily energy expenditure. Therefore I'd be losing weight, I'd be losing body fat. Theoretically, yes. My preference would be to work on a percentage. Now, a structured percentage would be around about 20% of a deficit. I guess that's a starting line for where you want to head into. Again, everything's kind of debatable. Like these are all kind of guesstimates. So if you, for example, took a 20% deficit, let's work that out on the little calculator here. So 3,750 divided by 100 times by 20. Okay, that'll give you 750 calories. So basically, this would mean I'd take 750 calories off my total daily energy expenditure. So I'd minus 3,750 on that. And it's quite simple, as we know, because it would be based at 3,000 calories, which is around about quite similar to my cutting calories anyway. They're around about between 2,800 and 3,500 theoretically, because I work on like high days, low days. Normally my more kind of active days, for example, like a leg session, will always have high calories, high carbs, because it's a lot more energy expenditure, a lot more kind of energy expenditure during that day. So I try and kind of counteract that. If you were just working on a straight linear base, 3,000 calories would be fairly good. 20% deficit, 3,000 calories a day, you would be in an energy deficit. So therefore you'd be losing weight, you'd be losing body fat. So we have now worked out this. We've worked out our set kind of like 20% deficit. Again, if you want to vary that, if you set it at 20% deficit, you felt like you were losing too much mass, you felt training intensity suffers, you felt, for example, results are moving too fast. What I mean by that, in terms of you losing too much weight, like if you're losing more than kind of a kilogram a week, you're not, 40-45% body fat, and you're not weighing 100 and, like 300 pounds, then something is a little bit off. So you can vary this. You can drop that down to maybe a 50% deficit, maybe a 12, maybe a 10. It's really kind of like interchangeable. So now you've worked out your set level, I'd say the easiest thing to do to start off would be straight on a linear plan. So have 3,000 calories every day. And again, this is just using me as an example. You won't be exactly the same with this. You'd have a different total daily energy expenditure. You'd have a different BMR. I hold a lot of lean mass, so that's why, and I'm fairly active during the day. Not today, I'll be sitting on my ass, but I'm fairly active generally, especially when I'm working. So that's why my basal metabolic rate and my TDEE is slightly higher than the average person's. Plus, I'm a lot heavier than a lot of people as well. So how do you split your macros? Well, we're going to go into this a little bit more in the next episode in terms of macro split, but a fairly simple, I say weight loss, fat loss kind of like macro split would probably be easiest to work on percentages. So again, what do you need on a cutting set of calories? I'd say you want carbs to be fairly moderate to low. Again, that's all dependent on the person. Like, are you susceptible to carbs? How is your insulin resistance? Like, do you work well with carbs? Does your body function well with carbs? Do you feel sluggish on high carbs? These are all things that you have to take into account. But let's just, for a standardized, say, we're using me as an example. I respond fairly well to carbohydrates, not brilliantly. Like, there's a set level, normally around about the 380 gram mark, that anything more than that, I feel bloated, I feel sluggish, That's kind of my maximum level of carbohydrate. So if I'm pushing towards kind of like 4,500, 5,000 calories, I'd be looking at increasing my fats. I do respond very well to fats. So my kind of, for example, leading to use my previous cut as an example, my carbohydrates went down to a minimum of 150 grams on my low days, which is fairly low for me considering my weight, considering my amount of lean mass. But training intensity was still good. I managed to maintain my lean mass. I didn't put on any lean mass. Putting on lean mass in a deficit is nigh impossible, but the idea is to try and maintain what you have. So a standard, let's get back to the percentage. A standard percentage would be, for myself, 35% protein, 25 to 30% carbohydrates, and the remaining 40 to 45% would be fat. So let's work that out. How do you work that out based on your calories? So you've got your calories, 3,000 here. I'm going to work out 35% of that will be protein. So I'm going to do 3,000. I'm going to get a minus. I'm going to divide that by 100. Ooh, shit. Yeah, 3,000 divided by 100 equals 30. Then I'm going to times that by 35. So that'll give you the calories of proteins that I'm using. We haven't got the grams of protein yet. So with the calories, there are 4 calories per gram of protein. So I'm going to divide this 1,050 by 4, and it gives me 262. So these are my proteins. That's my grams of proteins per day. Not 262 grams of chicken breast. Okay, that's not 262 grams of protein. This is 262 grams of protein. So an average 100-gram chicken breast would probably contain around about 18 to 20 grams of protein. So again, this is use MyFitnessPal, use another calorie counting tool to work this out. So carbohydrates, let's just take my low day for example. 3,000 calories. So divide that by 100 times by 25. It's my 25%. That's my carbohydrate value. I get 750. Still, 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates, the same as protein. So I'm going to divide that by 4. 187. Fairly close to what I was saying before. So that's my low day calories, my low day carbohydrates. And this is grams of carbohydrates. Now to work at my fats, my last bit of thing, I'm going to take 3,000 again. I'm going to divide that by 100. And I'm going to times that by 9 this time because there are 9 calories per gram of fat. Oh shit, no, backtrack. Hold on. 3,000, this is live by the way, 3,000 divided by 100 and then times that by, hold on, what do we have? We had 25, 35, so that's 50, 60, so it'll be 40%. So I'm going to times that by, I'm going to take 3,000, so 40% are my fat calories. So I'm going to take 3,000, divide by 100, times that by 40, that'll give you 1,200, and I'm going to divide that by 9 because there are 9 calories per gram of fat. And that gives me 133 grams of fats. So shit, I got a lot of peanut butter, I got a lot of avocados, I got a lot of olive oil. My fish oils take around 10 grams of that anyway per day, so I'm looking around 123 grams of fats. Again, these are all sources, saturates, unsaturates, polyunsaturates, monounsaturates, all these kind of jazz for fats to go. So you're looking at, all the kind of fats. You're looking at fats from meats, fat from fishes, vegetable fats, fat sources from things like nuts, peanut butter, all these kind of stuff, all fats taken to it. And this is why you want to use something like kind of MyFitnessPal. So an example of a higher day for myself would be around about 30. So I'd probably take the proteins down a little bit on my high day because I'd want it to be mostly about carbohydrates. So I'd probably take around about 28 to 30% of those 3,000 calories would be my protein. I'd boost the carbohydrates up to around about 45 to 50%. So again, that would probably raise the carbohydrates up to around about 380 to 400. Again, on my verging on my my top level of carbohydrates. And then of course the fats would take up the rest. So 25, say for example, plus 50, the 75, that'd be 25% would be fats, which would my fats would be pretty low on that day. They'd probably only be around about, I'd say around about 65 to 70. So for me, that's quite low. But guys, that is how to work out your BMR. That is how to work out your total daily energy expenditure. That is how to drop into a deficit. Remember, it's very much variable depending on yourself. Utilize this. If you're new to the game, utilize this. Use the TDEE calculator.net I'm going to put the link up now so you can have a look at that. And then, yeah, just go ahead, work it yourself. No need to hire an expensive coach like myself. But then again, I do come into use with a lot of other useful tips and joints and making things accountable and program design. And I'm a pretty much master at macro planning now. I mean, as I said before, it takes a little bit of getting used to, like understanding your macros. But with my clients, I've been working with them for, sometimes work with them, well, most of my clients I've worked with year round. I still use the percentage values. I do sometimes, especially when I'm dealing with a new client. But generally, because I've been working for so long, I know exactly when to drop carbohydrates, increase fats, make a complete turnaround in their kind of macro calculations and their calories, depending on whether they're, in a structural phase, in a cutting phase, coming into a show, coming into a photo shoot, in off season, whatever it may be. I always say to them, if you can see your abs in the off season, you're doing well. There's no reason to get too fluffy in the off season. There's no reason to shit eat and carb load and go absolutely nuts in the off season. In fact, this will be pretty hormonally detrimental, so you don't want to do this. But guys, this is enough. I know it's a 5-minute knowledge bomb. I've gone on for probably plus 15 minutes now, but hell, more information the better, right? Come on to episode 2 of this little mini series where I talk more about macro splits, optimal macro splits for muscle gain, fat loss, someone who's carb tolerant, someone who's not so carb tolerant, someone who enjoys fats, all this kind of stuff I shall go and I shall divulge in there. But for now, I'm inside in Tuscany. It's still a beautiful day outside. I'm going to go for dinner. I'm going to meet my parents. It's my birthday tomorrow. So guys, have a great, whatever day it is for you, whatever day you watch this. This is going to be released either on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But I'm going to say ciao for now, and I should catch up on the next episode.